Flying taxis. I mean, for decades, right? They've been the symbol of the future. But how do we actually get from that sci-fi dream to a real-world flight plan? Well, believe it or not, the roadmap is being drawn up as we speak by some very smart engineers and regulators. Okay, let's dive into this and see what it's really going to take to build the transit system of tomorrow. And this is the vision we're talking about. This image comes straight from the Federal Aviation Administration's own concept document, and it just brings the whole idea to life. You've got these sleek, electric aircraft zipping between skyscrapers, creating a whole new layer of transportation way above the gridlock on the streets. This is what they call urban air mobility, or UAM for short. It looks absolutely incredible, but it also brings up a massive question. I mean, we've all seen this kind of world in movies for years, so how close are we really? Well, it turns out that making this a reality means we have to solve two huge, fundamental challenges first. So, the first big hurdle. It's a classic physics problem. To get these things off the ground vertically and fly efficiently, they need a tremendous amount of power. But here's the catch. The very thing that gives them all that power, the battery, is also incredibly heavy. This slide just lays out the core conflict perfectly. On one hand, you need an immense amount of energy just for takeoff. On the other hand, every single kilogram you add for that battery is a kilogram that cuts into your flight time and your range. It's this vicious cycle that has really held back electric aviation for a long time. And this brings us to a kind of nerdy but absolutely crucial technical term, gravimetric energy density. It sounds complicated, but the idea is actually super simple. It's just the amount of energy you can pack into a battery for a certain amount of weight. A higher number is better. It means a lighter, more powerful battery. And for electric flight, a higher number is, well, it's everything. And this is where the potential breakthrough is. This table compares the lithium-ion batteries that are in, everything today with a next-generation tech called lithium-sulfur. Just look at the difference. The energy density is way higher, which means more power for less weight. The raw material costs significantly lower. Plus, it's safer and better for the environment. So we're not talking about a small tweak here. This is a potential game changer. And this quote from the Faraday Institution really drives the point home. They put it so plainly. Batteries that are better than what we have now are a prerequisite to move away from fossil fuels. So this tech isn't just for cool flying taxis. It's a key to unlocking a more sustainable future for all of aviation. Okay, so let's just imagine for a second that we've solved the power problem. We've got these amazing new batteries, problem solved, right? Well, not so fast, because now we have to deal with the next challenge, and it's a big one. The problem isn't just the vehicle itself, it's the traffic. How in the world do you manage thousands of these things flying through a city at the same time? Right, because having the perfect battery doesn't do you any good if the skies just turn into total chaos. You can't just unleash thousands of new aircraft into the system we have today. You need a whole new rulebook for the sky. And this is the FAA's plan for that new rulebook. This diagram shows our current air traffic services, or ATS, over on the left. But for UAM, they're planning a completely new parallel system. It's called Extensible Traffic Management, or XTM. It's designed from the ground up to be this cooperative, highly automated system built for this new kind of flight. So what does this new system actually look like in practice? Well, one of its core building blocks is the UAM corridor. And honestly, the easiest way to think about this is exactly what it sounds like, a predefined three-dimensional highway in the sky. It's a set route that these aircraft will follow to make sure they stay safely separated from each other and from everything else up there. And who's managing the traffic on these new sky highways? It's not your typical air traffic controller. The plan calls for brand new entities called Providers of Services for UAM, or PSUs. You can basically think of a PSU as a specialized data service that helps companies plan and manage their flights. It's almost like a Waze for the sky, making sure everything flows smoothly. So we have the new battery tech, and we have the new traffic concept. But you can't just flip a switch and turn this whole system on overnight. So the FAA has laid out this very methodical, three-step approach they call crawl, walk, run to safely get all of this into our skies. Let's break that down. The crawl phase is pretty much where we are right now, initial low-frequency flights using today's rules. Next up is the walk phase, and that's when those first UAM corridors get introduced to handle more flights. And finally, you get to the run phase. That's the mature state, a complex, interconnected network of corridors supporting super automated, high-density traffic. This slide gives us a great visual for that walk phase. The first corridors are going to be simple and very structured.
Think of them like the very first highways, just basic, point-to-point routes to get you from, say, an airport to downtown. Not a complex web just yet.
But now let's jump ahead to the run phase. This is the mature state. And as you can see, that simple highway has evolved into a full-blown, multi-lane superhighway system in the sky with different tracks for different speeds and destinations. This is the big vision for high-volume, super-efficient urban air network. So, we've seen the two big problems, power and traffic, and the two really smart solutions being developed, new batteries and new regulations. Let's put it all together and chart the course for when this future might actually finally take flight. So, based on these documents, we can actually sketch out a rough timeline. We are in the initial phase right now. By the 2030s, it's pretty likely we'll start to see those first midterm corridors popping up over some cities. And by 2050, the reports say mature, high-density operations are a distinct possibility. I love that phrasing. So, if you take away just one thing from all this, let it be this. There are two keys we need to unlock our flying future. First is the technology key. That's the lightweight, powerful batteries like lithium-sulfur. And second is the regulatory key. That's the thoughtful, phased-in plan for a new air traffic system, like the one the FAA is working on. And here's the thing, both of those keys are actively being forged right now. The technology is advancing in labs all over the world, and the rules are being written by regulators as we speak. Which brings us to the final and maybe the most important question of all. The tech is coming and the rules are being written. Are we ready for the day they arrive?